North America, hardcore festival. I mean, everybody knows him. It's good to have Cold as Life, especially when it looks like the somewhat of resurgence, whether they're gonna play or not. I know they're releasing fucking vinyls and merch and shit, and um, Jeff, Jeff and Roy, fuck.
What? Yeah. No, I don't give a fuck. This is some Suicide King shit. Well, I'm glad we are, because just go that natural. I'm not gonna be like, hey. Letting it rip like that was actually pretty sweet. Yeah. So
never actually let it go like that. Normally we're just like right into questions. Like, yeah. No, record it, and if anything good comes out of it, fucking use it. Just feel like there's a little pre-smoke fucking convo.
Yeah. There's not really much like editing to this either. We just let it go, and if it sounds okay, we.
Yeah, if it sounds good, we just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean,
let it rip, man.
If you say anything that you don't want us to mention, I can edit it out in the audio.
Yeah. I mean,
nice and cloudy in this motherfucker.
If I said fucking anything I wasn't supposed to say, I shouldn't have said it,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever.
Or if you did it, they already know.
Yeah,
for
whatever.
Sure.
That's a good way to look at it.
So anyway, man, I was just listening to your new fucking album, for Suicide King, Ceremonia.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you put one out? Been quite a while. Besides like singles here and there, right?
Yeah, we did a single with Elda Sensei. But fuck, man, I think Rock 'Em to Sleep was the last record, and it's probably been a good 5 or 6 years since Suicide Kings put a record out. We did do a tour toward Europe, like not this past summer, but the summer before COVID.
Yeah.
The talk and everything. We were supposed to come back that summer for COVID, and all that COVID shit hit. But
fuck that.
We did like 2 weeks tour over there. It was good.
How many cities you go to, or like few countries? Because it's like
we did.
It's all pretty congested, so you can do
when you're in Europe,
countries in a week.
Yeah, when you're in Europe, it's like going to a state here is like going to another country.
Yeah.
So we did Finland, we did France, we did Belgium, Brussels. I think we did like 3 shows in Finland. We did 2 shows in France. We were there like 2 weeks. We did like 9 or 10 shows. We had a couple days off. We went to Amsterdam, and we got a lot of friends over there, hardcore and like hip hop. So
yeah, it's been a hardcore relationship, especially it seemed like in Detroit for the longest fucking time. You've been going there. You went. I heard Enzo saying something. You went with him at Cold as Life a long time ago.
No,
or you went on tour with some of those guys.
This is my 4th time to Europe, or that was my 4th time to Europe. 3 times like with an actual like playing music, and then the first time was with Cast and Fire.
Okay.
So Lenny, Enzo, Jake, and Nate and Ricardo, who used to play bass from Crackjaw, Underground Disciples and shit.
Yeah, Crackjaw. Holy shit! I haven't done with that in a long time.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was good. That was 2000. Never been on a plane before in my life. Never really been outside of Detroit, I don't think. I think I went to SeaWorld with my mom when I was like fucking 10 or something. But first time on a flight, it's an international flight. I'm scared out of my mind because I never flew. I had this fucking La Bamba shit in my head, man, that this motherfucker's going down. And, it's been a fear. It was a fear of mine, because I never flew. And at that time, I smoked cigarettes, and lo and behold, you could still fucking smoke on a plane back then, pre 9/11. And there was like 3 rows in the way back of the plane that had a little curtain, and I just smoked my brains out.
Chill.
Yeah, and then like 8 hours later, we're in Europe. I was like, all right, cool, I made it.
Yeah, it is fucking scary though. Regardless, I don't care what anybody says. I've been on a plane like 4 or 5 times, not that much. But taking off and landing,
those are the worst.
It's
like
the worst. Just holding on for your fucking life, and like turbulence. I couldn't imagine like a 13, 14-hour flight or whatever you probably had to do to get over there, huh?
I think that was 8. The longest flight I ever did was to Thailand. Yeah.
You'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that. yeah, I want to hear all about that shit. So anyway, so you went with them. Did you have any bands started? Was Hyde going then, or was that all before
actually,
Hyde?
Hyde was going, and I had brought maybe like 100 demo tapes, total fucking DIY, Kinko's covers, black and white. If anybody has one of those Hyde demo tapes, let me have it, because there was a demo recordings of some of the songs that we put on the first EP, Sky's False Persona.
Yeah.
But they were different. It was a different recording. and I actually liked that demo recording a little bit better in its own way. You know, like the recording came out great,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked the demo version too. You know, because I want to say like 10 years ago somebody showed it to me or posted a demo song or something, and I was like, wow, man, I forgot how much different that sounded than that. But yeah, we went over there with like 100 demo tapes. Hyde, that was 2000. I think Hyde started in like 98, 99. So I mean, we were Detroit, just playing local shows and shit. And yeah, that was the only band I had going at the time.
Is it the first band that you like sang for, or were you like in any other bands before that? Did you play any instruments?
No, never played. I mean, I do play instruments now, and throughout the years, I've learned drums, guitar, bass. I fuck around with some beats and shit too. But at that time, no, I never played any instruments. And I did play in some other bands. I played in a band called Shutter,
Know the name.
which was right before Hyde. Um, and Will from Hyde and Roots of Anger played in that in the Alliance, and he played in that with me. But that was a little bit more like kind of like a more of a Deftones type of band. You know, it was like heavy, but it wasn't a hardcore or metal band.
Mm-hmm. Even some of the Hyde songs, you know, are like right there, you know, on the brink of like metal hardcore to me anyway. Like,
yeah,
I think it's a lot different than Alliance.
Oh,
I think it's a totally different fucking thing.
180% different. Yeah. I mean, at that time, too, that was, like I said, 98, 99, 2000. That's where that metal, well, whatever. I mean, to me, like Agnostic Front always brought that kind of metal influence into hardcore, you know, like when there was a lot of other bands. But I mean, during that time was when that real, almost like that black metal crossover, that real extreme Slayer, Iron Maiden type of metal crossover started getting mixed with like breakdowns and shit, which put in that hardcore genre. And then again too, I mean, at least Hyde, I mean, I wasn't singing about Dungeons and Dragons and shit, might have been pretty metal based, but the lyric content was always
still hardcore.
The same. I mean, yep.
Either way, so I'm assuming you were into hip hop before hardcore, right? Like, you must have been. Everybody seems like there's
at least
roots always hardcore.
At least my generation, I don't know. Me and my generation was like I got a brother that's 7 years older. So when I was, I mean, shit, we'll go back to 11. Just to say 11 years old, 19. No, I think I was 11 or 12. 1989, 1988, and Justice for All came out. And again, I think around the same time, like NWA's Straight Outta Compton just came out. So, I mean, in the hip hop world, that was new. You know, there was nothing like that before that. So I was a young kid, for the most part, listening to that growing up. So I was right there at the start of all that, rap and gangster rap stuff. And then the metal was just always there. My brother, it was Slayer and Anthrax and Metallica. And then around that time too, 11, 12, 13, I was skateboarding. So, you mixed all that metal with all the hip hop, like Ice Cube and NWA and Public Enemy. And I remember Ice-T, OG came out. I mean, all that stuff.
And I was like 1 year old then, but I know 80s, all the music.
Early 90s. And then the skateboarding crowd actually is probably the crowd that introduced me more into the punk rock stuff. Like Circle Jerks. And, I mean, I remember the first time I heard Suicidal Tendencies I was like, oh my God.
That's some different shit.
Skate dudes from LA that are like playing metal, which, at the time was really hardcore. It was me to metal at the time because I didn't really know hardcore.
Yeah. Because you don't know what it is till you're like immersed in hardcore. This is fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing.
So yeah, I always listened to hip hop. Always listened to metal. I remember having to. I would dub tapes, back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Still dubbing tapes, and I would write different shit on my hip hop or rap. You didn't even call it hip hop. It was rap tapes. Like I would put Ice-T or stuff on it. I would put like Winger, or Poison or some shit. So if my mom seen them,
yeah, so nobody knew. Gotta hide
she'd
that
be
shit.
like, "What the fuck? I heard about NWA. You're not listening to this shit, So I was sneaky back then,
Good, you gotta be.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, upbringing, metal, hip hop. I mean, but everything. My mom. I mean, my earliest recollection of listening to music and having a like thought of like, wow, I like this, or wow, this makes me feel a certain way was Motown, man.
I love it.
My mom had a 1972 Pontiac Grand Prix from when my dad was still alive, and it was early 80s. I just remember riding around, like having to do errands with her, listening to Motown and this red leather Pontiac and shit, going to the bank where people could still smoke at a bank.
Stand in line.
Yeah, man. They had the taller ashtrays and shit, and you could smoke in the mall back in the day. But yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
That's probably my first recollection of like hearing all that stuff. And Motown, like spoke to me in whatever way, made me feel good. To this day, if I could only have one sort of music, it would be give me all the Motown greats.
That's awesome, man. See, my dad was like Bob Seger, like MC5, Ted Nugent, all he used to tell me he remember seeing MC5 like way back in the day up at the band shell here in Lincoln Park.
Yeah,
he said like they would be like, kick out the jams, motherfucker. They get the plug pulled all the time just because they would start with that, like they wouldn't even get to play.
Yeah, Downriver's had some cool shows. My brother-in-law seen Kiss at the Yak Arena back in the 70s.
That's fucking crazy.
But yeah, my mom and pops were a little older than that, So my sister had the Bob Seger records and all that shit, and Ted Nugent, and I remember going into my sister's room to steal change or something when I was a kid, and seeing the Quiet Riot record with the dude. Do you know what the record cover looks like?
No.
Okay, the record cover is this dude in like this red leather jacket, but it's a straight jacket, and he's got like a hockey mask on.
Oh shit!
It's not like a Jason looking hockey mask. It's almost even more twisted, and he's like straight jacket with this hockey mask on like this. As a 9-year-old kid, I was like, whoa, this is fucked up, seeing shit like that,
Yeah, see, I had a totally different influence. Like my sister's older than me, like 6 years older than me. I remember going into her room and seeing like her CD collection. It was like Dr. Dre, The Chronic, and like Master P, like Ghetto D and shit. So that's what I was first introduced to. Like was hip hop, like early '90s hip hop, and all I had was 2 older sisters, and so they didn't listen to like no punk, no hardcore, no metal, nothing. They were listening to fucking like Britney Spears and shit. Watching like what's that TRL on MTV. I was like for Limp Bizkit. I liked it because it was heavier, but I didn't know. I was like 5th, 6th grade. Like I like this like loud shit. So back then you were already into hardcore when I first heard like 98, 99. Like definitely radio shit, but still gets you going, like interested, like that sound, like guitars and like whatever kind of shit he's screaming about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you hear it, and then you just meet like your friends at school. They'll be like, "Well, fucking check this out." It's like Hatebreed or something heavier, like even like a Meshuggah that wasn't on the radio.
Yeah.
So I started listening to that. Yeah,
that's a good thing about music too, man. At least for me and my group of friends and a lot of the friends I still have today, music brought us together one way or the other, whether it was listening to it or back in the day, shows were more violent, so you kind of did want to roll with a group of people, in case some shit happened, and you never know what was going to happen, at least back then. So you met people, and even the whole crew shit, man. It's like I never understood being in a crew with a bunch of dudes that you don't know, because to me, the only crew that I had or that I needed was my people around me that I knew anyway.
Right.
So whatever the fuck, slap a name on it, but we're, you know what I'm saying? You're still my 7, 8, dudes, right? So
that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, music's good all around, man. I don't know where I would be without music and other shit in my life.
So going back though, to you being introduced to like hardcore and shit, like, do you remember like some of the first like hardcore shows you went to, like whether it be like early 90s?
I got a funny story for you. So Lenny's my boy. Everybody knows me and Lenny are really, really good friends.
Lenny from Earth Mover, who don't know.
Yeah,
everybody knows
Earth
though.
Mover.
Yep, all this
Len Mover, Lenny Tornado Anims.
I never heard that. No,
that's an old one.
Yeah, that's a close one.
You see Lenny's little ass in the pit back in the day. Yeah, he used to get down. But so I'd have to say my first introduction to actual hardcore, quote unquote, whatever, was there was a radio station from Canada, from Windsor. I think it was called CJAM. I might be totally wrong. It might be the Calgary station. I think it is. But there was a radio station in Windsor, and if anybody's listening, you remember this, please let me know the radio station. This is mid '90s, and I'm sure it was probably around a little bit before that. But I used to have a friend who lived in Riverview, and we were into metal and stuff at that time. I'm junior high, maybe just getting into high school at this point. Uh, Started smoking the sweet leaf, So we used to sit in his driveway and smoke, and it was the only place we could really get this Canadian Windsor station in. Like we'd move like 2 feet out of his driveway,
Oh, yeah.
and it would go away.
Still, you can get some. Canadian
Yeah,
station-
still you can get some
the way
Canadian
you're standing.
stations. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the station was on at like midnight on a Friday or Saturday, I think. He used to deliver pizzas. We used to go there after he was done, and we'd chill and smoke and listen. And again, that's how we found out about a bunch of cool music. I found out about Integrity because they were playing Integrity. I found out about Earth Crisis. I found out about a bunch of cool bands. And then I heard, oh no, my bad. Let me take it back a little bit. So we were listening to this radio station, and I went to go see the Deftones at the Shelter. It was $3. It was the Deftones before they had a record out, back when they used to give out these little cassette samplers at shows and stuff like that.
Seeing it at a shelter would be weird. Like,
well, this was before the Shelter was redone too. They actually had like a little waist high kind of barricade up.
okay.
And it was like the dance floor, and then that barricade kind of separated the dance floor and then like where the bar and stuff still is. But anyway, I heard about the Deftones from a show out in Westland, like the Mosquito Club. Somebody was handing out. They used to be like promo tapes for up and coming bands, and it'd be like a song on each side, and it'd come in a little cardboard sleeve. And if they were playing in town, there might be a sticker on it that said "playing so and so." So that's what it was. Listen to the tracks. I think it was "Bored" and "Teething," which never even made it on like that first Deftone record, which is heavy as fuck. And I was like, wow, these guys are cool. Shelter, $3, cool. And it was Earth Mover and the Gutter Punks that opened. I go there with my buddy, and we're there to see the Deftones, right? And Earth Mover opens, and it was my first introduction to like hardcore, because they hit the stage, and boom, Lenny's
Shit
ass
opens up and
hits the ground running and touches the wall and does some like jump fucking side kick off the wall into the crowd, and it boom, shit just blew up. And I'm like, wow, and it was that newer style of dancing. I mean,
you just swinging their arms and shit.
Yeah, it was different than what I was used to at Harpo's or seeing a Pantera show maybe at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man. And I seen the set, and I was blown away. The Deftones come on. It was awesome. The next weekend we go back, and we used to call in and request shit, And I'm like, hey, I was just at this show downtown Detroit, and this band called Earth Mover played. Do you have any of their shit? Guy's like, yeah, I think I got a 10-inch. Must have been the first 10-inch that they did. I think it might have been a European thing. It was like 2 songs from them and maybe 2 songs from somebody else or something. I don't know what it was. It was something really old. It was 95, 96. And the guy played it, and it sounded like shit. Because I was not used to like the punk rock hardcore recordings, especially back then.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was horrible. And I was like, this ain't the same fucking band. These guys suck. What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't till like literally like a year or 2 later to where I seen Earth Mover, and I'm still not friends with Lenny at this time, or before. I seen Earth Mover with it was Universal Stomp and Underground Disciples, 98 at the Pharaohs. It was their CD release show for Death Carved in Every Word. And I mean, that record still to this day is
so
fucking amazing.
Good,
and again, seeing them live, they killed it live the first time, they killed it live this time, and then Death Carved in Every Word was a much better recording and mixed, and they, whatever, maybe they had money or time to put into it, and still to this day one of my favorite CDs. So that was probably my first introduction to that, was seeing Earth Mover accidentally. So
that's fucking sweet.
Good show. Yep.
Yeah. Well, sort of like the same thing. I was already in. I started off like punk and shit. Then I went to The Shelter, though, to see Bleeding Through, I like them because they were like the metalcore. I didn't
Yeah, I
even know
like
what
Bleeding
hardcore
Through.
was or
Yeah.
anything. And it was them and fucking Himsa. I remember that band.
Mhm.
Like, I just thought it was like metal. Like, I didn't know what the fuck it was then. And I seen them, but Let It Die opened.
Yeah.
And so I just remember like seeing that like hardcore dancing for like the first time, like people like spinning and fucking people up, like hanging off like the speakers
Yeah.
at the Shelter, like
Oh, yeah.
kicking people. Like,
Yeah, good old days.
yeah, man. And that's, I seen some like some other shit. I already said this, but it's fun to talk about because like your introduction like to that type of shit, it really fucking sticks with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I mean,
you love
that was my. I'll never forget that show. That Deftones Earth Mover show. That was
Yeah.
cool. And then just like, I mean, the price, like $3. It was just the time. Everything's got a time and place, right?
Yeah, it does. Fuck. I mean, so what year was that? Like 95, 96?
Yeah, I think that was like 96.
Let's go to fucking Hyde. When did Hyde start? What year was that? 98?
That was probably like 98 fucking around. I think the demo was 99. 99 into 2000,
So you had what? You went up on Tribunal Records. I mean, do I think is that right? Did that happen or no?
Yeah, we were on Tribunal.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, that was that time when that style was newer or whatnot. So I mean, it was actually Face Down from Canada.
Okay.
We were friends with all those guys. Shout out to Face Down. They were, they helped a lot. Face Down helped a lot of Detroit bands, come over to Windsor and play during that time.
Fuck
If it
yeah.
wasn't for, like Jim and those guys, a lot of those Windsor shows wouldn't happen,
It's like few. For Windsor's a fucking pretty small, but they're lucky that Detroit back when it was easier to cross.
Yeah. And I mean, like you heard Cold as Life talk about it. It was a lot hard. I don't know how it is now because I don't fucking go over there anymore. But, back in the day, it was sneaking people over in trunks and borrowing equipment. And one dude might not have got over. So can anybody kind of play bass or, So,
yeah, man.
it was Face Down kind of hooked us up with that. We had the demo out and they had just put out a record on Tribunal. I think Undying was on Tribunal. Prayer for Cleansing was on Tribunal. It was a stacked label at that time for that style. So, yeah, Matt from Tribunal. We did the first EP with him and then the full length with Matt as well.
Yeah. Then, was there some time? Did you have a record label too? At one time,
I did have a record
was
label.
Vendetta? Was that you?
Vendetta Records.
Yeah.
Yep. For a small time.
Yeah, because I remember that because fucking Quit Your Life. Remember that band?
Quit Your Life. Yeah.
They were on your record label.
I love
right?
those guys, man.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Awesome punk band,
so
man.
fucking
Yeah.
good, man. I remember those dudes like the Downriver Love Show and shit like that.
I always said too, man, fucking great name for a band, especially a punk band. Quit Your Life, dude.
That's it. Fuck Kenny and fucking Tommy and all them guys, good guys.
Yeah.
But,
Good. Daniel, remember that band, Daniel?
Yeah. What? Fuck yeah. Was it? You had It's All Gone to Hell too.
It's all gone. I put out the first It's All Gone to Hell stuff. Yeah. A couple releases, nothing much. I mean, running a label was hard, especially back then.
Yeah, it was cool though, because that's
I was really more just trying to do my part and help out. There was no real ever thought I would make any like serious money off of it, or it was supposed to be something lucrative. It was just more like if I can
helping
do this and
out.
put out releases, and I had distribution through Tribunal as like a subsidiary label, so that was like another big reason why I decided to do it, because during that time, I don't know if it's still around, but Lumberjack Distribution.
I remember that name.
Yeah, Lumberjack was in Ohio, so for at least for us, it was super easy. And we had a lot of friends that worked there too that played in bands like Premonitions of War and Next to Nothing and stuff. And so it was really easy to go down there and buy CDs at like, a wholesale price, take them on tour, still be able to give them to people super cheap and make like a buck or two a CD that just helped us eat and put some gas in the band.
Time,
yeah,
a little bit.
And we got a lot of other shit out there too, so
good networking.
Yeah, it was super cool. So
your shit everywhere. I just remember though, because a little story about like Vendetta. You had there was like a logo that you had. It was like a Molotov cocktail. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was in art class, probably like 10th grade maybe. I can tell you, I was in art class with him over here, and we had to do like one of those. We had to like draw something, and it was with like for black ink only. Is one of those things that you like dip in like the thing, and you had to fucking like color it. I did that whole thing on like a big ass like 24 by like 18 sheet of paper, fucking Vendetta Records with the Molotov cocktail, and like I didn't even know. All I knew was Quit Your Life on that label. I don't know who you were or if anybody else. I just knew Quit Your Life. I was like, that's a sick ass logo. I wish I still had it, but
Did you fucking get an A or what?
yeah, hell yeah, I did. Yeah, my teacher fucking loved it. You miss Sisk? I didn't do shit, dude. I would just sleep in that. I'd be all fucking stoned after lunch.
Well,
like
cool.
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
But that's when I was like, okay, I can do this.
I always like to hear that stuff.
Yeah, man. Like I didn't even know who the Alliance was. I think one of your first albums was just on that record label. I remember seeing the red album art. Is that In Love?
Oh, the first record was on it was like it was a European label.
Okay, I just remember seeing it though.
I don't remember because it was
a long ass
20 some years ago. But
Yeah.
if the Vendetta logo was on it, it was just for me to have to handle the distribution over
Yeah,
here.
no, I thought it was just on the
you know.
website, like maybe just like on the website. I remember
Maybe,
Vendetta
yeah,
Records.
I'm not sure.
That was a fucking long time ago.
It's funny. I didn't remember. I haven't thought about that in
Yeah,
for
man,
a
the
long
shit that
time.
sticks with
Yeah,
people
yeah.
though. Well, you know, well you're older, so than me, it's like 10 years maybe, but you know, it's local things that you look up to when you see people like doing the shit when you're at a young age. It's
Mm.
and the shit you remember, like you probably remember distribution people and record labels.
Yeah.
That is,
I mean, I remember going to Cold as Life and Earth Mover shows and seeing the distro CDs. I mean, you don't see that at all anymore just because CDs are dead in general. But Mike Hasty used to have he run a nice distro, you know. He used to show up and there'd be, you know, 3 or 4 of these plastic bins like this
yeah,
with stuff.
CDs
Back
and
when, you
shit.
know, I mean, again, you had labels like Trust Kill and Death Wish and all the labels that really needed, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the percentages was, but I mean, I know it wasn't all getting sold in stores.
No,
you
maybe
know,
like the
I
t-shirt
mean,
place. That was like it.
Yeah, the T-shirt place, and that was random, is because there was certain people that worked there that liked the music, so they brought some CDs in. But other than that,
yeah, I just remember the one in Taylor. Like that's where I found like all the local shit. Like I'd go in there and buy a shirt and just go to the t-shirt place because it would have just. Well, it's like you couldn't check it out. You'd be like, I like the band name, or say like 4 fans of like Hatebreed and Terror or whatever. I'm like, well, I like that shit, and it's weird how you learn new bands, and now you just go on the internet and it suggests it for you. Now you had to fucking bump into it, you know.
Definitely, you didn't have to. Well, at least in my area, you couldn't even bump into it. You had to look for it. You know. Again, everybody talks about the same shit, but yeah, the fanzines back in the day, the show distros, you couldn't just, you know, go online and download it. And I mean, you had to go to the show. You had to find out about these bands, you know, that were on tour from fucking Buffalo, New York, you know, like, and they're in Detroit, like in a van touring. I mean, I remember that's how I found out about like bands like Despair and you know, Scott's first band and stuff was an Earth Mover show, you know. Yeah, it's just, I miss it, but whatever, it is, you know, it is how it is what it is, you know. Everything changes.
It comes in cycles too. You know, people are interested or not, or some like, you know, just old people, like older dudes, like, I like what I like. There's no reason to.
I'm one of those dudes for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm open-minded. You know, if I told you some of the shit I listen to, you'd laugh at me. It's not all hardcore, you know. But when it comes to hardcore, particularly, I want to say I'm a bit jaded, but at the same time, I'm just like you. I know what I like. I would rather hear another Madball record because I love fucking Madball and I know the sound and I know what it's gonna sound like.
Fuck yeah.
And I mean, I get when people say, "Oh, I don't want to hear the same record." Well, sometimes I do from that band. You know, that's why I like that band, because I can count on them sounding a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, especially for like hardcore, just because I listen to hardcore, but I listen to hardcore when I work out and box and stuff. I don't very rarely like bump it in my car like I did back in the day as much, you know. Although I have been playing all the Cold as Life stuff in my car because it just got released like digitally.
Oh yeah,
you know,
easier to listen to.
It's just easier to listen to. Yeah. So as far as like newer stuff, hardcore wise or heavier wise, it's just it's not newer, but it's all good. So all the Cold as Life stuff that got released digitally, I do like that Code Orange band, and they just put out a new record. I don't know how new it is. I just found out about it. It's for being metal and just heavy as fuck. I like it.
Yeah, they blew up out of nowhere too. They're from like I think Philly, Pennsylvania
PA,
area.
Yeah.
And I seen them. I took my son to see Hatebreed when they did the 20 Years of Satisfaction.
That's great.
Seen it at the Majestic. Code Orange opened and fucking Dying Fetus. So for a 10-year-old kid, man, he was like,
I love seeing young kids at shows. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I remember seeing a Sick of It All show way back when, and I was young, not like a kid, but I was young, late teens, early 20s, and like somebody had their son at a show, and it was a Sick of It All show, and I think it might have even been St. Andrews or something. It was a bigger spot, and Sick of It All always just being like a fun-loving, cool band. They were like, dude, get out
he's
here,
super chill,
and somebody put him on his shoulders, and they were right out there, and he was like, I mean, like, how cool is that?
That's fucking awesome.
That's fucking awesome. So I'm pretty sure your kid will remember that.
Oh yeah, he
like,
does.
Dude, I went seen this show with my dad.
Yeah, he likes Code Orange still. Like I'll hear him listen to that, but he listens like whatever like on how what 13-year-old kids like, but he still watches like Code Orange videos. I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's stuck with him. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm like, what about Hatebreed though? What about Hatebreed?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
He'll get there.
Yeah, hopefully. But fuck, what was I about to say? I had something I was gonna work off of there, but so last album you did with the Alliance was Hit 'Em Up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I remember
that was the last one.
Well, when you released it, it was like a free CD. If you went to the show, it was at the Modern Exchange when you released it. Man,
yeah.
That was one of the fucking crazy shows. It seemed like every time at the Modern Exchange, it didn't matter who was playing. It was fucking so rowdy.
It's funny. Like I don't remember that show.
No, I see it, man.
I don't remember
crazy.
the CD release show. I just remember a lot of shows at Modern Exchange during that 2005, 6, 7 era. I think maybe.
Yeah.
And they were all pretty crazy for being a downriver spot in like the middle of the suburbs. Like, I mean, yeah, there were some good shows there.
Sworn Enemy.
I want to say I seen Bad Luck 30 there. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a smaller show, and if I remember, it was a little bit more tame than other times I've seen Bad Luck 13. But I mean, garbage cans were still getting thrown all over the place and shit. But there wasn't like, I mean, it was smaller, so there was only so much people were interacting. But it was, I mean, you had Bad Luck 13 and Modern Exchange.
Hoods.
Yeah, I remember we played there with Death Before Dishonor. Lionheart played there.
Yeah, they're fucking.
There's a lot of good shows.
Now.
Yeah, a lot of good shows. Lionheart's another one of my. Again, they're not new, but they're like relevant right now.
Yeah,
like I really
still
like Lionheart. I always have. I like the progression of Lionheart because I'm such a hip hop head. I love the dude's vocals, man. I think like as far as vocals and hip hop, it's just my opinion and personal liking this, right? I feel like one of the reasons why Hatebreed was so like commercially accepted, and that's not a bad thing, because they never changed. Hatebreed's Hatebreed, is I feel one of the big reasons is because you can understand what Jamie's saying, even if you're a person who isn't like deeply submerged in like hard, heavy music, which we all know is like really screamy and sometimes you don't know what the person's saying. You could understand what Jamie was saying. So I think it appealed to a wider crowd that might like heavy music, but didn't like, they might not have like Buried Alive or whatever or something, but they
read the lyrics to figure out what he's saying for the most part.
Yeah. You really have to read the lyrics. And I mean, being one of those people that was harder to understand until Hit 'Em Up came out, and that's kind of where I'm going with this is I used to get that all the time from people that were like, oh, I like it, but they really didn't listen to hardcore metal. So I don't want to be like, oh, well, this isn't for you then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always thought that was one of the cool things was like, dude, nobody's fucking excluded from listening to this, playing this music, partaking in this music in the crowd, and like whether it be stage diving or, Be respectful, but no one's too cool to fucking dance or jump off the fucking stage or grab this mic and sing. So
That's it.
you know, but I really like his vocal style. I like the fact that like it's you can understand it now. It's really he's got a really like good flow and a good hip hop cadence.
Yeah,
with
for
his
sure.
Vocals.
Yeah.
I mean, like him and Freddie Madball, like they kill that shit when it comes down to like that street vocal style.
You really understand.
Really
it, though.
understandable.
Hear every
Still
word.
hard
Yeah.
as fuck. Like I said, it's just that it's got that head nod shit.
Fuck
You
yeah.
know
Man.
that again is why I mean for me in hip hop and hardcore, I loved hip hop. I loved that. You know, I loved listening to the lyrics and not knowing. I was fucking 9, 10 years old. I didn't know what Compton was or any of that shit, but it enthralled me because these guys are talking about shit that I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. You know, who wants to hear about the same old shit all the time? You know, so
Yeah, man.
But- oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
With
go ahead.
with Hit 'Em Up, yeah, the last record we put out and my personal favorite record because I felt like we finally, at least in my eyes, got to where I always wanted the band to be like sounding wise.
Yeah.
You know, and vibe and like that whole vibe wise, you know.
Yeah. Well, you compare to the other albums, though, it's not like a distorted voice, so you can really hear what you're saying. And,
Yeah, I mean, you
you're
listen
really
to the
singing along, man.
first record and it's like Hatebreed Under the Knife
Mm-hmm.
type of, you know.
Fuck yeah, but
It's like
still
super
good. It's just a little different.
Yeah, no, it's just different, right? I mean, but the vocal style was a huge part of that. You know, we also had different members too. You know, the lineup from that first record to Hit 'Em Up is 100% different. You know, the first lineup was Vinny and Jake from Dogs of War,
Mm-hmm.
Jake playing drums, Vinny playing guitar, Jay Clifton, who ended up being our drummer on the last two records, was playing guitar. A guy named Nate from up north is playing bass. Nate left. Vinny and Jake left. I mean, 3 members left, even on the second record. The second record was Time Heals Nothing. And you could see that was you could kind of see the direction we were trying to go in
For sure.
with that record as opposed to the first one. That record had pretty much both Hyde guitar players came to the Alliance, Mike and then Will.
Yeah.
And then Clifton switched over to drums, which, you know, Clifton's a fucking awesome drummer. I mean, Clifton's a great musician in general, but drums is awesome, you know.
Hold on.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
For sure.
Oh, shit. I spilled some shit.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Matter where
a fuck
we
ton
are.
of water, bro. So I'm pissed.
Oh yeah, me too. Okay. Well, we had to piss.
Yeah, we had to piss. Drink a lot of water. Gotta stay hydrated.
You do. You gotta have fucking clear piss.
You gotta have clear piss, man. If my piss ain't clear in the middle of the day, I ain't drinking enough water,
You
man.
drink a half gallon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something I've always, well, not something I've always done from training. You know, I just always drink. I used to walk around with a gallon jug on me, and now I don't do that so much.
How long you been training for?
Yeah.
You've been,
You got to have some water. I'll always have like a water bottle with me, you know.
I love water. But anyway, I don't even know where we're. It doesn't matter. We're talking about the last album, Hit 'Em Up.
Yeah.
Will there ever be another
No.
Alliance album? No, never.
No,
Never gonna happen. You moved on.
I mean, I'll never say never, but I don't see another Alliance record
That's okay.
in the future.
Any hardcore record coming from you ever?
Well, we'll say this about the Alliance record. If somebody wanted to do the Alliance again, meaning like if they want to write a record and keep the name The Alliance,
Oh yeah.
sure. If Mike or anybody that was a core member was like, yo, I really want to be a part of it, I really want to write a new record,
Oh yeah.
sure, we'll give a crack at it. But I mean, shows, if there ever is shows again and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm always down to like, you know, play a show for the, you know, fucking playing a show or like a benefit. If anybody thinks we would draw anybody to help out,
That'd be fun.
let us know. We'll play a reunion show for sure.
Shit, I'm having a benefit in my fucking backyard.
But as far as a new project, I've tried. you know, in the sense of like I've put it out there, and I don't know, maybe people just don't want to be in a band with me. I'm an asshole. No, I don't know. I haven't really got a lot of feedback. You know,
Okay.
I talked to one cat. I won't call him out on this podcast a little bit about working, and it's just, you know, life,
Yeah, you know.
kids, work, whatever. It
It
just
doesn't
never, it
matter.
never manifested. So,
It's
you
all
know,
good.
I would be down to do a hardcore project, but like I'm very picky. Maybe that's why this dude didn't want to work with me. You know, I got a certain like sound that I want to do. I don't want to do the same thing I've done for the past however many years, especially with how much I've done in hip hop since like being in a hardcore band. Now, I'm not saying I want to turn it into Limp Bizkit, but I do have a certain sound of a, you know, if I was gonna put a stamp on it, you know, I want it to sound more in the realm of a Madball, Biohazard. Uh, and with that being said, that street, I want that street hip hop element,
Yeah.
like Biohazard had and like Madball had in whatever project I'm doing. Because I mean, vocals are going to be like that. I'm not going to like scream the whole time. You know, I'd like some diversity.
Right.
You know,
Even
but
like would you even throw like a Death Threat sound in there? Like,
absolutely,
yeah.
I fucking love Death Threat.
Fuck
Yeah,
man.
big Death Threat fan. Even, you know, again, Death Threat to me is one of those bands that, without having like that, you know, Evan from Biohazard, you know, Death Threat doesn't do that, but they are a very street hardcore band, I would say. You know, they have that certain,
And you can
certain
understand
sound,
him.
and you can understand
Yeah,
what he says.
Mhm.
Now, I remember a lot of people back in the day didn't like his vocals because he was so because he didn't distort his voice, and because he didn't sound like
Wasn't
fucking Jamie
Right, no
Hatebreed.
growling.
Yeah, he was just da na 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 na, and I liked it, man, because I was very like
Best.
the cadence. You know, he had a really cool cadence with
Yeah.
some of his flows and
Almost the
stuff.
hip hop type
Yeah,
of shit is
yeah.
all.
So yeah, Death Threat would be
weaved
another
in there.
another cool influence to throw in there. You know, but
Fuck. And then
I don't think there's no more Alliance records.
No,
Like I said, maybe a
bring it
reunion.
back.
I would be down to do another record or another project with somebody for sure, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
But it's got to be the right person, you know, right people, same mindset. At this age, I don't want to go through the band thing of like arguing about how it's supposed to sound. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It would pretty much have to be like me and probably the guitar player, whoever's writing the music, just clicked, and like I trust him so much in the sense that we're such on the same wavelength of what we're trying to do. Like whatever he brings me, I'm just like, yeah, dope, you know.
Fuck yeah.
But
So, a lot of your lyrics, like you talk about, like grew up quick and grew up mean. How's it growing up for you, man? Like, were you like a wild child? Were you a wild child? Sounds like you're a wild. I don't even know you, but
I mean, we were all. I mean, maybe some of us weren't. Like, I got a niece who I'm so glad she's 17 now and is nowhere near.
we're doing crazy shit.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, fuck, man.
the innocence of kids.
Yeah, she's super innocent, and I'm glad that it's like that. Again, I don't mean like everybody's got a story, right? In short, yeah, I mean, I grew up. What's hard, right? Did I grow up poor? No. Did I grow up hard? I would think so. In a
No, I'm good for now.
I'm good, thanks, man. In a typical sense of, yeah, man, it was definitely not picket fences and fucking daisies. You know, my dad died when I was super young. He worked for Detroit Edison, which is an old term that I don't even know if you know. Do you know what Detroit Edison is?
Like electricity.
Yeah. Detroit Edison used to be DTE. It switched over to DTE. But
yeah, I remember when people still call it Edison.
Edison, yeah. Detroit Edison was like the electric company. I mean, they ran a lot of stuff, and my dad was a steel worker, so he died on the job.
Shit.
You would think my family would be rich, but I mean that it didn't work out that way either. You know, I had a stepdad. He was a dick. You know, I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, like there's abuse, there's physical abuse. You know, there was there was fucking the screaming and the yelling and the home life wasn't the best. It's not to say my mom's a great woman, and she, especially with my dad dying with 3 kids, got put in a hard spot,
Yeah.
And as far as my stepdad being not the best person to be brought in, people make mistakes. So, no, I mean, I was pretty much out when I think I was 18 or 19. I was out of the house, and I was just starting to do music then. So, uh, you know, I grew up downriver, and people always ask me about downriver or like where I'm from when you go. I've been quite a bit around the world, so whether it be Europe or whatever, or even just another city, like, you're from Detroit? I'm from downriver, which is 2 miles from Detroit.
Yeah.
So I always try to tell people that, meaning like I mean there was not bullets whizzing through my window every night, but being a troubled young kid from a unstable home and Detroit being so close, I was hanging out there and doing a lot of things.
Easy access.
That I should not have been involved in or anywhere around. There's plenty of instances that, man, the wrong day, the wrong second, and I could not be here talking with you
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I ain't fucking bitching either, though. My home life is what it was, but I'm also that adapt and overcome type of personality.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a dad. I never fucking once bitched about what I don't have or what I could have had because of that. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I'm a type of person where it's just been, I got to work harder to get what I want. I've always felt, it's always, some people maybe get shit handed to them quite easily. I don't. And if whatever accomplishments I have made or things that I've had to work like a lot harder to get them.
Yeah, man, I can relate too. Like, I had it easy for like a while going up until like my dad like owned a store, like I said, in Wyandotte, and always like growing up, kind of had kind of do whatever I wanted. We like vacations and shit, but like I really didn't learn how to earn anything for like a long time up until he passed away. I was like 21, and he died, and like the store like went to like his partner and shit. So like we really didn't get much from that. But I kind of always depended on my dad. So after he passed away, I was like, fuck. Like I worked for him, so I just assumed I was gonna be working there. Like made my whole life, just fucking work under him. But like, when he passed away, it's like I had to fucking really work for what I wanted rather than having that dependence.
That's good though.
And, yeah, I fucking learned a lot. Like, oh shit, like real life is harder out there for a lot of fucking
real
people.
life is real.
Hell yeah, man, it's scary.
Real life is real. So, yeah, I mean, mine was opposite. Like I said, I'm not trying to front like I didn't have clothes on my back and shit like that. But my mom liked to pretend that we were something we weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Put it this way: my brother's first car.
It's like a front.
Yeah. We lived in a neighborhood we really couldn't afford. I mean, like, when everybody was getting like cars,
oh yeah,
like we weren't, it almost made you feel like, why the fuck are we here? He's getting new shit. He gets new shit. Like, I remember my brother's first car was like a 80 something Buick Skylark that caught on fire because the bottom was rusted out and the carpet,
oh yeah.
From it getting so hot from the exhaust or something, like literally caught on fire. His car burnt down.
Shit.
But like I said, I'm not trying to say I didn't have clothes on my back, but I definitely, I mean, you that line with whatever hustle, I don't even know what the fuck it was.
Grew up quick. Grew up.
Yeah. I mean, and there was another line, I think that was the same song. It says, "I've been hustling ever since I was 13" or something.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of I always got to hustle. That's the only way I knew how to.
Yeah, I mean, you learned
get
quick,
by,
though.
get what I want, learn quick. I mean, I was fucking 11 years old selling golf balls. Even at that young, I had to hustle. Like I'd go in the creek and at night and get all the golf balls and clean them up, and then I would go ride my bike a couple miles over to the nice golf course, and I'd sit out there and I'd sell them 3 for $1 and shit. And run away from the fuckers on the carts that used to try and get me. But to buy skateboard shit, back then, my mom, like I said, I had clothes and shit, but if it was like, I mean, I remember back then, I think skateboard decks were like $25 a piece.
Shit.
And I used to crack them bitches a lot. I was a skateboarder,
Yeah.
So boom, I crack a deck. My mom wouldn't like give me $25 to go get a new deck. What? No way. I remember when like Air Jordans, like the first Air Jordans came out. If I remember correctly, they were like $90 or $100. And my mom, no way, paying for shoes that you're gonna grow out of in a year. Yeah. So any like extra stuff like that, like my mom, yeah, I had food, I had a house, but any extra things that other kids where I lived might have gotten regular, I had to like do something. I worked at a Chinese restaurant when I was 14, and I sold weed on my little scooter that I had. I was just a hustler, like that.
Yeah.
I had to make some money, extra money. Like I said, if those extra things, my parents wasn't going to get them for me, and when you're that young, how the fuck else are you going to get them? Especially when your friends have them or whatnot,
Yeah.
So
that's fucked up. Oh, not fucked up. You just learned.
yeah, it is what it is,
different,
right? I mean, I
different.
love my mom. I got a great relationship. I got an older brother and sister. Everything's cool in my family. Everybody's grown up. But yeah, with my dad dying and all that stuff, that definitely at such a young age, and then like I said, maybe my mom making some bad decisions from there on out, definitely had to play out in,
Well,
she should have married this fucking rich guy. I remember she was dating this rich guy. His name was Mitch. Mitch was a good fucking dude. Should have married that guy.
shout out to Mitch.
Shout out to Mitch.
Well, where I was kind of going with that is like how you said, like you were in like a neighborhood where you felt like you didn't belong, but leading into like hardcore, that's a place where you feel like you belong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool how
Absolutely.
you find it, and then
Absolutely.
it's almost like it's like your secret life, like where you are, you don't feel welcome, but at a hardcore show, it's
Like
where
I said, I
fucking
met
belong.
a lot of. I mean, Lenny. Lenny is like literally like he's my brother. He's not my friend. That's how close that we are. I would have never met him if it wasn't for hardcore. A bunch of other people, Jam. Me and Jam are great fucking friends. But I never met Jam if I didn't call him out at a hardcore show for being fucking rough with people in the crowd, not knowing he was a monster.
Yeah, he's
And he was. I remember this story. It was God, where was it? I think it was a place in Lincoln Park. The Alliance is playing, and Jam's there, and he's fucking being Jam. I didn't know Jam at this point, but I knew his brother Eric. Eric played in Tough Call.
yep.
I knew his brother Eric.
Vendetta Records. No.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we put out
Oh,
Tough Call
okay.
stuff. And I called Jam out on stage. I'm like, yo, fucking, you motherfuckers want to fight? Go outside and fight. Don't fight at the show. Whatever I said, not realizing Jam was Jam.
I'll fight you, bitch.
I get off stage and Eric's like, hey man, I want you to meet my brother.
Oh,
And he introduces
shit.
me to Jam, and I'm like, what's up, dude?
Whoops.
He was all cool. He's like, hey man, I wasn't being a dick, blah blah this, and I'm like, yeah, it's all good. Fucking, are we friends?
We're good.
Me and Jam been friends ever since. But
That's
yeah, you're right. I mean, I went a lot of good people. Felt like I belonged. Even if I didn't necessarily felt like I belonged, I felt like I was there with other people that felt like they didn't belong either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure it does. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain to people nowadays, like, what hardcore. I always say, like, I learned a lot of good values from hardcore that I apply to my everyday life. I mean, from training and fighting, like, that I've applied to that,
Yeah.
like the Muay Thai stuff in the Thailand time. Like, I mean, that's stuff that I don't think if I had the mental morals that I had, I don't know if I would have made it through. Of the just fuck it, push forward, fuck it, push forward. It's hard. Well, oh well, it's supposed to be hard. Suck it up. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we learn a lot of that just from the fucking lyrics of like
Yeah.
hardcore bands.
And I always say it's so cliche to be like that, that hardcore. But fuck it, I mean, it's only cliche if it's cliche.
Unless
You
it
know what
means
I'm
something,
saying?
then
If it means something
yeah.
and you can pull something from that and better yourself or better your life from hardcore lyrics, fucking good for you. I mean, straight edge friends. You know how many straight edge friends I have that are still straight edge to this day in our fucking 40s, and I'm like, dude, awesome for you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because that's like you really got to commit to that.
It's a commitment,
You
man.
know,
That's a commitment.
that's a choice
And
you
for
make for
whatever
life.
reason, they've committed to do that.
That's why I say
They
it's
stuck
always
with it, man. You know, and it wasn't just.
so
And I think a
admirable.
lot of those people might not even have had that to cling on to if it wasn't for that music. How are you going to find out about straight edge if it wasn't for hardcore? You know, how are you going to find out about veganism or animal rights if that's your thing that maybe turns you into a 30-year fucking vegan, and maybe you educated however many other people you educated throughout your lifetimes on that topic as well, whatever that topic is, you know, because of this music, you know. So
with lots of values to take away.
yeah, especially if you're there for the right reasons, you know, and I think maybe during the right time. You know, now I don't know. I don't know what those values are. I don't know what the I don't know if it's the same. I know that the bands that are still doing it that were doing it is the same. I don't know what new hardcore bands talk about, you know. I don't.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
hey.
saying? Like I hope it's whatever
all
it is.
there.
I hope it's all there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the meat and potatoes is there.
Yeah,
You know?
the core
Yeah.
core values. I don't think that really ever goes away. But you know, for lots of new bands like Never Ending Game. Are you familiar with them or no? They're from Detroit.
Yeah.
You fucking love them, man.
Cool.
They're like one of the.
I mean, again, like I said, I'm jaded, but I'll always check stuff out.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, they're up there, man.
Cool.
Fucking doing it. We can't really. There's just straight Detroit hardcore. Got a hip hop feel. I guarantee you'd like them.
Tell me, remind me afterwards, and I'll check it out.
They had a new album, 2019. What's it called? I don't even know what the fuck it's called, but it's the best. It's like 10 songs.
Cool.
Who else? A Hush. That's more of like a negative approach type band. Like I like the punk roots. Just some, you know, the younger people, like 25 to 30. You
Good.
know.
Hey,
so they're still carrying the torch.
Yeah,
like they're
somebody's
still
gotta
doing
carry
it. And like I was listening to the horse show even before the. I see
the
you at
last,
Mad.
yeah, I was just gonna say the last show I think I went to was that Madball Magic Stick with the Unseen.
No, Lars Frederiksen.
Lars' other band. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the band?
I don't know. It's not the Bastards.
No.
I don't know. That's more
Anyway,
like punk
yeah.
shit. But still, the kids at that place, the Sanctuary. Never been there yet.
You know what?
Trammick.
I was supposed to go see Marauder. I think at the Sanctuary.
Yeah. They were like February or something before the shit all shut down.
The show didn't happen.
Okay.
I'm good friends with George from Marauder, and yeah, I mean, I still don't know what happened. I think they like just kind of took off after the second leg of the tour, and they didn't do Detroit and a bunch of other shit. I don't know if it was members or something happened or whatnot, but
fucking shit hit the fan and nothing else can be. But still, like kids go hard. There's still a lot of kids, you know, even for the local bands. Like I can't even tell you who I've seen Terror there at the Sanctuary. I think it's like 350 capacity, and they can pack out 350 people.
Oh, absolutely.
I say that's a good fucking show.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but
really good.
Like even that fucking Madball, that was a Sunday night. It was pretty dead. It was
pretty dead. I went with my girl who is newer to hardcore, you know, and you know, I was telling her, I was like, this is one of my favorite bands. I've been listening to these guys forever, and she really liked the show. Again, even the people, you know, because I was there and ran into a lot of people, and she's like, everyone seems really cool. I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, the mosh isn't as hard. I'll be honest. I'm
the
gonna
mosh
say
is. I don't know if the mosh is even there. I mean, let me say this: I was watching the show with Joe, Hardcore Joe. I mean, me and Joe might not even know who I am anymore. You know, the last time I seen Joe was literally Mr. Muggs, 2003 or 4. I don't know if I booked the show or not, but it was Punishment when Black Mike was in the band. And again, I remember hearing Joe talk about like how the dancing. We were talking about the dancing and stuff, and how in Philly, the crossover. Man, when those Philly kids came to Detroit, I put it this way: Joe talked about a show, Dysphoria, with Cold as Life, the first time he came over, I think, to Detroit as a roadie.
Yeah.
I want to say Cast and Fire might have played that show too, or Dogs of War. I don't remember, but I was there with like Cast and Fire, Dogs of War, because I was friends with. and like him and Black Mike and this other dude I think that played in Punishment too. They were wild, man. They were like the first kids that I seen. Even I mean, I seen the newer stuff in Detroit, but those guys, and I want to say the Windsor kids took that crazy fucking spin kick shit to like the next level. Like you'd go to face down shows, man. All those Windsor kids, I got to give it to them. That new style, Windsor, and then I remember Joe and the Philly kids. You know, really pushing that.
Fucking the shit up.
Yeah, dude, they were wild, man. I mean, like, you know, fucking 3 spin kick fucking shit, and like I was like, you motherfuckers are gymnasts, not hardcore kids. Like,
yeah,
fucking action movies and shit.
Y'all wearing like gym shorts and like Nikes,
like getting ready to mosh.
Yeah,
you know, like
lacing up,
headbands on, shoes, fucking getting limber and stretching out and shit. Like, you guys take this shit serious, bro.
Oh yeah,
goddamn competition.
Yeah, it got fucking insane though. A lot of the shows though, like people like they get like dropped like at shows, like especially the Alliance is always fucking crazy for you guys, especially like Alvin's and you know. I remember you guys played up here in Lincoln Park at Floyd's Bar. I think you played with like CDC and
Floyd's Bar. Wow.
All My Blood.
CDC, yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember like it was like a basement of a bar. Like couldn't even fit like maybe 100 people.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think that's the show I was talking about. Jam. If it wasn't that show, it was that place.
Yeah,
now
basement.
That you said it was a basement in Lincoln Park. Yeah.
There's a few shows there. I think it was booked by. I remember Justin Polam.
Yep. That was the same spot. Yeah.
Just in case promotions is what it was.
Yeah.
I remember that shit. But I don't even know where I was going with that. We're talking. Oh yeah, like hard mosh and shit. But the kids though are a lot more friendly. They only punch their friends. It seems. You know.
That's good.
Yeah. We hit somebody that doesn't want to be hit.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? You guys had the shirt, mosh or be moshed, or the hoodie.
Yeah, don't stand around, right? I mean, again, I get it, man. You're standing in the back and some fucking idiot just comes up and slams you, dude.
Oh yeah,
that's
right through the crowd, hitting 5-6 people deep.
You know, but you're at a hardcore punk show, whatever, you know. And again, I'm not so into the fucking. I don't know what this shit is, dude. People like jump over people and like punch people. I don't know if they're actually punching people. I don't know if it's like a cool thing to do, but motherfucker, like I don't know.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting fucking back here, dude, and you fucking jump over 6 people to try and punch me, we're gonna have problems, dude. Other than that, if you're around there, stage, side of the stage, edge of the pit, whatever, man, like
it's your problem.
Know what's going on, you know. That's all.
Just watch out.
Yeah. And even then, I don't promote any fucking buddy just running up and hitting people like that. You guys are pussies, you know. Like that's, I mean, that's something I was always pretty vocal about.
Oh yeah,
I thought you know you guys want to fight, fucking fight, dude. You know, but don't fight like 6-on-1 because you think you're tough. You know, with this, it isn't cold as lifetimes back then where, yeah, you might have to stomp fucking a dude out because you don't know. These were at this time, I keep saying Bury Live, the Bury Your Dead era of Alvin's and a lot of that stuff. I mean, these are all like middle upper class suburban kids, dude, that you think you're being cool, you know, you're not. You know, go fucking fight outside, fight 1-on-1. That's cool, you know, that's tough. Whatever.
I agree with you, but I was on the fucking wrong side of that, you know, like way back in those days too. I was the fucking asshole, and like I said it before, but you know, you live and you learn, you grow up. Like I just wouldn't want that happening to my son. It's like dumb shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Or like until
don't get me wrong, I'm all
until you get humbled though. Like people get humbled.
I'm all for street justice, pit justice. If somebody does something that's out of hand, it should be met with the same amount of force or you know whatever. But I mean, like, yeah, imagine like if that was your kid, dude, that like went to like a hate breed show and just got his fucking head split open for no reason. Because some asshole with brass knuckles was just running around hitting people, dude. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like
it fucking makes me like boil inside, like the dumb shit. You know, it's all we're at a hardcore show. It's very aggressive.
Whatever.
But it happens. Yeah. But like you said, if it's your kid, whatever. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, let's go on to after the Alliance. So you started. Did you move to Calgary for the new thing, or did you move there for a different reason? Like I thought it was for hip hop. I don't know why you left. I knew some shit was over.
No, my ex-wife was Canadian, so I moved there because she was Canadian. And then I actually met Cole who is the producer of hip hop. So I was in Canada for, well, let's see. I was in Canada for about a year and a half. I went to Thailand for about 6 months or so. And then I moved back home, but I was living in Windsor. And it was a terror show at the Magic Stick and a band called Gravemaker. You remember that band?
Yeah. They're from Canada. Yeah.
No,
No?
they're from Seattle, I think.
Okay. Well,
Um,
up there, I guess.
but they opened up, and I'm outside. It's summertime, I believe, and I don't know. I don't even remember how it came up, but something about hip hop and something about Canada. And he was like Cole was loading up a van, and he said, "You from Calgary?" And I said, "No, I'm from here, but I live there, and I'm moving back, at the end of summer." And he said something about hip hop, and he was like, "I make beats." And I was like, "Wow, what the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "I live in Calgary." And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I play guitar in Gravemaker." So he just happened to be on tour with Terror playing Detroit, and I was outside, and we met like that. Super weird.
Shit.
We didn't even meet in Canada.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I'm on tour for like another month, but when I'm home, I'll get a hold of you, and we should link up and do something." And fucking that was 2010. The rest is history,
Fuck yeah. So you lived in Calgary when you went to fucking Thailand, or were you?
Yeah. I lived
For
in
6 months.
yeah.
I remember seeing pictures of you on like a boat and shit. Like I just remember that a long time ago.
Yeah. So I lived in Canada for probably about a year and a half, and I was training Thai boxing like maybe about like 3 or 4 years tops. I had just started training Thai boxing when I left. Yeah, about 2 years before I left here.
Yeah.
So like
I remember you doing it here,
2005.
like Jam and shit.
Jam, yep. Me, Jam, Scotty Hughes. We were a couple guys that took it pretty serious. I had a couple fights here. Well, I had a couple fights while I was living here that were in Canada, because there just wasn't a lot at that time. I mean, there was nothing going over here for Muay Thai, in Michigan. So I had a couple fights in Canada, in like Kitchener, Waterloo, Toronto, and stuff like that. And then I got married and moved out to Calgary, which I thought was going to be like bad for my Thai boxing because it's something like I just found at like 25,
Yeah.
But it ended up being like the best thing for me. The Muay Thai out in Western Canada was very
A lot of
high
people doing
level.
it.
Yeah, very high level. I first started training with a guy named Mike Miles out there, whose history on him is he kind of looks like Chuck Norris. It's funny, older dude. Came up in the 70s and 80s kickboxing. Like what we call like pants fighting.
Okay.
Like the kickboxing where they wear like the long pants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a big difference between that and Muay Thai. So he kind of came up doing that, and then was a pioneer in Western Canada as far as like realizing that like Thai boxing is the mecca, is the ultimate. So he started going to Thailand, started bringing what he learned back to Canada and competing and crushing dudes, and made a name for himself. So I started training with him, and it was hard. It was hard with him because I stepped into a top level Muay Thai school with a stable of professional and amateur male and female fighters. So I was like very, very fucking low on the pecking order.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I remember when I got there, he literally crushed me. He
So
was
what do
like,
you got?
yeah, he was
"Oh,
like,
shit."
you fought, yeah, blah blah. Did you win this one? Yeah, we won this one, lost that one, blah. Okay, who did you train with? Told him my time. And I started training, and I remember the first thing he told me is like, "I don't fear your right hand." I was like, "Damn, dude!" Literally made me like relearn how to throw a cross.
Shit.
Trained with him for about 9 months. Finally got a fucking fight with him, and I lost a split decision. If anybody knows anything about fighting, split decisions are fucking can't get any fucking closer. I would have said I won. He said he won. One judge said he won. The other said I won.
The 3 judges.
Yeah. And like literally after that, he fucking just was like pushed me off to the corner. Kind of didn't really give me no attention. I kept training. I was like, okay, well, like I've said before, I got to show this dude. I got to show this dude I'm serious. I got to show him that, you know,
You're improving.
that I'm improving, that I'm doing good. But then, like right after that, I ended up going to Thailand. So I didn't have another fight with him. Went to Thailand. Spent like a little over 6 months there.
That's crazy. How did you live there? Like, it looks like you're training. I've seen a video of you. It looks like you're training like a fucking village.
Yeah, yeah. The first place I trained was it was called Sorbor Pin, and it was in Bangkok, but it was about 20 minutes outside of the craziness of Bangkok, like you see in fucking The Hangover and shit.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
there's a street down there. It's called Kosan Road. I mean, it's a big street, long, windy. You know, that's where you're seeing all that stuff. You know, that's like any time of the day, night, you can get anything you want, from pussy to beer to food, anything. You know, I mean, it's just nonstop. It doesn't stop.
It's like an intense Vegas, but
yeah, it is
way crazy.
But wait, I mean, I don't know. I never been to Vegas, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
One place I've never been to is Vegas.
Well, I mean,
but
like Fremont Street or something.
from what I've seen, and like from what I've seen, like the mockery of from the movies, and like I said, the Hangover 2 alone was all about them being in Bangkok and how fucking crazy it was, and it is like that.
I love that fucking shit.
So I trained about 20 minutes outside of the city, and there was it was like in like a village. So I remember when I was walking, because it was like from the main road to the actual place I was staying was a good half-mile walk. From the main road where the bus would drop you off, and you had to either take a what they call like a motorbike taxi, where like you just hop on the back of a motorbike for about no helmet, nothing.
Are we by yourself?
I was with my ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she with you. All right.
So you either hop on a motorbike it was about 2 miles, and then they would drop you off at the street, and then from there you'd have to walk about a half mile through the jungle to get to this where the camp was. They used to always say, like, when you're walking, don't let the branches of the trees like brush past you, because there's these little green snakes, and they're the most deadliest snakes, and that's like an indicator that like prey is there, So yeah, dude, it was wild. I mean, living there, I remember waking up. So
6 months is a long time, though.
Yeah,
so just trying to wrap my head around 6 months. And
yeah, it was October till February, March. Yeah.
Always hot as fuck.
Yeah, dude, it was so hot, and I went there in what they call the off season, like our winter, our colder months, and it was excruciating hot. So the first place I trained for 7 weeks, almost 2 months straight, 6 days a week, 2 training sessions a day. You woke up at 5 in the morning. Well, let's see, how am I make this right? 5 to 6. So no, so I woke up at 5, and you ran from 6 to 7. You ran a 5K, or you had about an hour. You used to take about 5-10 minutes walk to where we would run. We would run for about 30-40 minutes, another 5-10 minutes to walk back to the gym, and then you start your morning training session from 7 to 9.
Oh shit.
Yep. And then you would eat breakfast at 10 in the morning. And then, I mean, by that point, I've already done like 3 hours of hard training in the sun. You would run that early because that was the coolest part of the day, to run at. And then you would eat breakfast at 10. And then you had some time to pretty much do whatever you wanted to do. I used to take a nap, because of waking up that early, and then like literally like just pushing to exertion, eating, and I would fall back asleep for an hour or two, wake up at 1:30. Go out to the little gazebo thing, fucking listen to some music, and then you would train again from 3 to 5. And 3 to 5 was considered the harder session. That's when we would spar. That's when so some of the hardest I've ever been. I've lost fights in the ring. I've won some. I've lost some. I've lost more than I've won. But in Thai boxing, it's always about your experience. You'll never see like Thai boxers asking what their records are. You see them more asking how many fights have you had.
Yeah.
And it's when you see the whole, like, you look at these Thai guys' records, and they're
180, 90,
180 fights, 47 losses. I mean, you look at somebody with 47 losses, and you'd be like, wow, dude, you got a lot of fucking losses. but you've got a fucking 180. I mean,
Yeah, there's a big ratio.
yeah, there's
there.
a big ratio, and like I said, it's more about Thai boxing, especially when you take the North American stigma and ego out of like win, 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 win. Of course, everybody wants to win, but in Thai boxing, it was more about how well you fought. You could lose and get more respect in the winner from your peers and everybody else if you fought fucking really hard, you know. And the point I was getting at is some of the hardest competition, win or there was no winning or losing. Was on Wednesdays. We'd have like what's called gym fights, which in Thailand these guys are doing this for a living, so they're fighting 2 or 3 times a month, and they're fighting for peanuts. They're fighting for 1,000 baht, which is like $30, or whatever. And if they're staying at the gym, like 20-30% of that's all already going to the gym. And the betting in Thailand is a very big thing.
A lot of people watching those fights.
A lot of people. Thailand, Thai boxing.
Everyone's betting too.
Everybody's betting, and Thai boxing in Thailand is like baseball here. You can go on Sunday. It was channel 2, live Thai boxing fights every Sunday on the TV, just like regular TV, the same way we would show, I don't know, a baseball game or something. It's for free. Everybody's watching it on Sunday at their home with their kids or whatever. It's just you'll be walking, and then instead of soccer is big over there too. So if the kids aren't playing soccer, they're imitate boxing and stuff. 10-year-olds on the yard
crazy.
kicking each other and shit. And
they blasting each other.
So some of the hardest competition I've had in general was the Wednesday night gym fights, because it would be guys from gyms that obviously that we were cool with, or that there was no competition or whatnot with, or anything.
It's all experience.
Yeah, and I mean these are Thai guys. They've
been doing it since they're fucking babies.
Yeah, I'm what's called over there a phalang. Phalang means like foreigner.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Russian, fucking Puerto Rican, you're Phalang.
You're not Thai.
If you're not Thai, you're Phalang.
Yeah.
So these guys are guys that are fighters every week, every other week, and they would come over. And sometimes we would go to their gyms, and it would be Wednesday because they were fighting on the weekends, and it would be like the last hard sparring session. But sparring is a very loose word to describe Thai boxing in Thailand, even when you're supposed to be sparring.
Oh, it's still like
very
80-90%.
Dude, you could get knocked out if you're not on your shit.
Well, defending
100%. But defending yourself, yeah. Now nobody's trying to per se.
Well, you're just pushing yourself to the limit.
But sometimes it's just that you don't have to hit somebody hard to knock them out. You hit them in that right spot. They're not defending, and then jaws there, whatever it is, and they went hard because it was the last time you're going to go hard before you're fighting in a couple days, and so the first 2 months was there, and we went to the islands, like down south where all the tropical shit, the beach, that movie The Beach and shit. And went down there for 3 weeks, almost 4, and then I went up to Chiang Mai, which is up north Thailand, and I trained at Lex Fet Muay Thai for about 5 weeks. And then I went back to Bangkok and trained there for another month before I came home.
Was this how'd you plan that? Like you just said, I'm gonna go there and just whatever happens, happens, or did you plan to hit all these?
I had no idea gyms where I was gonna train, or I mean, when we went with money saved.
Yeah.
Passport stamped for 3 months. I had to leave once and go into Burma, which was crazy, to renew my passport. Like if anybody doesn't know, it's called Myanmar now, but it used to be Burma.
Yeah.
If anybody ever seen the last Rambo, not the last shitty one, but the one right before that, where but yeah, I didn't know where I was going to train at. I didn't have anything set up. I didn't talk to anybody on the phone beforehand. I just I did a little bit of research. And especially at that time, even though it was, that was 11 years ago, 10, 11 years ago. The internet's grown so much in that period of time that even then there was only so much I could figure out
Oh yeah.
without just going over there and getting into it. So
Yeah, like all the YouTube videos weren't there like, even that long ago. Like you barely find.
yeah, I mean the videos that I have, I remember I bought a little camcorder thing, a little handheld one that was, and I think HD was like brand new at that time.
So you're paying top for
Yeah,
it anyway.
yeah. I mean there was no phones. That was it.
That's fucking
So
crazy. How many fights do you think you had over there? Like, not a record, but
I mean
fighting
like those
every
gym fights and
Wednesday?
stuff. Yeah, every
Shit, man.
Wednesday for like that was at the Soyvor Pin place in Bangkok. So I mean every Wednesday for 6-7 weeks. Like I said, those Wednesdays were, put it this way, I might have had some tougher fights mentally, like actual fights,
Mhm.
but competition, I don't. And again, I've lost fights in the ring that I say some of these gym fights were way harder. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like per se lose, like I didn't get knocked out or anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still standing at the end of it, but it was like, holy fuck. But then, I mean, and this is just, it's like with anything, and it's like how we were talking earlier about like these values that you take from hardcore, and at least the values I took was like I said, man, fucking marauder, life is pain. Don't think it owes you anything. Earth mover shit. Like I mean, I could quote fucking hardcore lyrics all day,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you really believe that shit, and then you could have a real fucking negative outlook on that too, and be like, "Oh, life is pain, fucking, what's the sense?" or whatever. People
Yeah.
turned all kinds of crazy shit. I had to have more of a positive outlook and was like, "Look, nobody's giving me shit. I gotta fucking fight for it. Life is hard. So what? No one said it was gonna be easy. Like I have a really like fucking Clint Eastwood type of outlook on shit. Like
It's a good way to look out, though.
and that's what I'm saying. Like even though I'd be beat up, dude. I put it this way: if there was a winner, I didn't win one of these fucking fight nights with these guys. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I got some good fucking shots in to where this is when when the Thai guys come up to you afterwards, and they say things like tricky falang, and it mean like I'm tricky for a white dude who's not supposed to know Muay Thai. I mean, it could, because I would tag him with a couple things, or I'd hit them and they'd step back and they'd smile.
Oh, you got
and
me,
they'd
bitch.
give it right back to you. But that's just that it's that respect and that exchange
For
of the
sure.
sport and the thing. Like nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's a lot of white dudes there too, or you think a lot of people would go there to train. If you're
well,
not.
that's kind of what I was getting into. I'll roll right into that next about like the respect from the Thais. It means more than winning or losing.
For sure.
Because up until a certain point, we weren't allowed to go over there and train. There's a movie. It's called Chok Di, which means good luck in Thai.
Mhm.
It's not like really mainstream. It might be kind of harder to find, but it's about a French fighter. His name's Dida Diafat. I don't know if I'm saying it right, like Dida, and it's French, so it's Difiat or something. Diafat, whatever. Again, whatever. It's a French fighter named Dida or Dida. If you typed in French Thai boxer Dida, he would come up. He's very famous. Made a movie a long time ago. It's called Chok Di, and it's about his life, about how he was. He lived in France, getting in all kind of trouble. Just got out of prison or jail, whatever it was. He did, a couple months and got out. And it was just he was going to fall right back into his own shit. And his grandma gives him a one-way ticket to Thailand, because while he was in there, he came across this dude. Now I don't know how much of this part of the story is true. I'd like to think it is, because I don't know how he would get into it. But while he was in prison, he met this other French dude who had spent time in Thailand and learned how to Thai box. And he showed him, because the French dude in the movie seen him get into some prison fights, and he's like, you're not bad. You can fight okay, but you really don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And he like hits him with his elbow, and the dude's like, what the fuck was that? He's like, that's my elbow. You didn't even see where it came from, did you? He's like, no. So he kind of teaches him how to fight a little bit in prison, and he's like, hey, you got to change your life. You could do something really good, So his grandma saves up some money, gives him a one-way ticket to Thailand. He goes over there. This is in the 80s, early 80s, not late 70s. I don't know exact year, but judging by
Quality.
what people are wearing and shit like that, stuff like that, and just the time frame. So he goes to this gym. He literally sits outside the gym doors for a month, while every morning at 5 in the morning, the gates open, all the Thai guys come out stretching, start running. He goes running with them. As soon as he comes back to the gate, they won't let him in. Stops. They close the gate because you're not allowed in. You're American. You don't got the heart. You're gonna quit. Americans are fat and lazy. You can't do Thai boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't do Muay Thai. So for a long time, Americans were not even allowed to train in Thailand. Now again, we're talking. I'm sure the stigma broke around that time, late '70s, early '80s, and given, like I said, Mike Miles, when he was going out there and stuff, I'm sure he was probably one of the first two to, and I'm sure there probably was still a lot of gyms that still wouldn't train Americans, and then there happened to be some that would. And I don't even want to say Americans because, like I said, it was Falang. If you were not Thai,
Basically not welcome.
you're not welcome.
Shit.
You don't have the heart for this. And it wasn't until I forgot what it was in the movie. He did something in the movie. I think he helped somebody or something. They finally let him in, and when they let him in, they let him clean the dishes, sweep the
It
mat.
wasn't even to train yet.
Yeah, it was really like symbolic, and it was very old school, man.
An interesting movie.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. Even if you're not into Thai boxing, it's a good movie about just fucking work ethic. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yep.
Nice. So how many years like 10 years since you went there? Like, have you been training constantly or like on and off here and there?
I stopped fighting at 33.
Yeah.
Damn, now I have to tell you how old I am. I'm 42 now. So I haven't fought in like 9 years. But since then, when I stopped fighting, I started teaching at the gym. So I have to mention this. I'm probably nobody from Canada that's listening, but so I started off with Mike Miles, went to Thailand. I told you kind of he just didn't really give me a lot of attention. While I was there, his golden boy was a guy named Trevor Smandich. And while I left, him and Mike had a bit of a falling out. Trevor's been with Mike since he was 17 years old. And I mean, he was with Mike for a long time. I don't really want to get into the logistics, but, Mike really didn't want to let him spread his wings and go do his own thing. There's no reason why he shouldn't have. So during the time I was in Thailand, Trevor had left Mike and opened his own gym. So when I got back from Thailand, again, reinvigorated and wanting to keep fighting, I started training with Trevor and his brother Nate Smandich. And that was called Team Smandich Muay Thai in Calgary.
Nice.
You can look that up too. And I will say Trevor was my mentor. He's the guy that really was like, you got some raw talent. You really put some time into me. You know what I'm saying? To develop me as a better fighter. So when I was done, I started working for him like right off the bat. He was like, dude, you should start teaching classes and blah, blah, blah. And then I started doing personals, and then I started like helping corner fighters and getting fighters ready and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And one way or the other, I've pretty much been doing that since then, on and off.
Yeah. So I know there's not like belts in like Muay Thai. Like, is there like ranks? Like, is it like armbands or some shit? I know, or is that just like Americanized?
That's kind of an Americanized thing. I've asked, because again, I don't want to. There's no reason saying names, but there is a school over here in Michigan that does armbands, and as far as I know, in my 16 years of Thai boxing and time in Thailand, and I mean, I spent time with monks over there, and as far as I know about the culture and stuff, the armbands were meant for decoration and also almost like a peacock. The more stuff you had on you, the more experienced and you were almost like an Indian
bragging.
chief's head dress.
Okay.
The bigger it was, so when you seen the Thai guys with all the flowers here and the armbands and the mong kong around the head, they all have some specific meaning spiritually, but I've never heard of it in a ranking system until I came and seen this American school that was doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe they're using that as a way. Sure, they are. But as far as I know, there's no. You either fight or you don't, or you have and you don't. The only real status is the status of crew, which means teacher, or the status of agent, which means like the head of the school.
Okay.
You know? So I
that's
have
the
I have
highest
my
level.
crew status, which
Mhm.
means like I'm certified to teach
Okay.
this style of Muay
Yeah,
Thai.
that's like
Yeah.
there's not like a black belt, like so anybody like just can't teach. You probably have to be certified from somebody, right?
Well,
Like,
again, I mean,
there's like
I know-
federations for like
yeah,
karate
I mean, I
and
know
taekwondo
plenty
and shit.
of people that might not have their like crew certificate, but have had 25 fucking fights. Now, who are you
They're
going
at
to
the
go
highest
to?
level, regardless.
You're going to go to this dude who may have never fought in his life, but he has the certificate, or you're going to go to this guy who doesn't have the certificate, but's
Exactly.
got. I don't care if he's lost 20 of those 25 fights. You got some fucking experience and you got some years,
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's definitely not like a traditional belt system whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, it's one of the only ones. It's almost like boxing. Like boxing, you could box, you could train. You train, you either
shit,
fight or you
yeah.
don't, or you did fight and maybe you don't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no belts in fucking boxing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Unless you're like championship belt, you know.
Yeah, well, same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it is. Again, now if this guy that, like I said, doesn't have a crew, whether he lost some or won them, and he's got all this experience, he might have 2 amateur belts and fucking. I'm gonna go train with this guy,
Hell
because
yeah.
he's been there, he's been through the thick and thin, As long as he knows how to teach me how to Thai box, I know he's got the experience, I know he's been there. I know that when he's telling me this shit, it's because he's like, hey, I got knocked out by this or whatever. I know, that this is how you do. I don't care if fucking Joe Smo says to do it this way, who's never been in a fight and has never fucking tried to see if this way actually works. I can tell you it does or doesn't because I've been there, That's who I'm going to train with.
Yeah, that makes sense. You completely, it's
Now, obviously, I'd like to find that dude who's like at the top of the food chain too, that's got all the belts in the world or whatnot. But I mean, really, what it comes down to for me would be experience. Like, how long you been doing this? What have you got?
yeah.
That's what I want to know.
I mean, the first 5 minutes of
meetings, you kind of
moving
tell
around,
that,
you
yeah,
can tell.
and you know that in general with people, if somebody's bullshitting you within a couple minutes of them talking, or if
Yeah,
they're
especially
pretty
about something
legit,
specific.
especially about something specific. Yeah. So, I mean, in total, 16 years I've been since I started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you're doing some training. I seen you post something that said you are doing a striking coach.
Yeah. Well, Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Striking at Gracie Baja in Livonia, which is like a Gracie
The jiu-jitsu
Brazilian jiu-jitsu school.
Yeah.
Yep. I just started it, meaning like it's literally like January was the first month.
Okay.
They're a new school that opened like right before the pandemic, like literally right before the pandemic. They got hit, and it's just been like the diehards that has been keeping the place open. The people that are like, we won't get into the whole fucking COVID and all that shit or anybody's views on it. But
we're training. Yeah.
People that are like, you know what, fuck this, dude. I'm keeping training, take care of myself.
Well, there's a lot of people's mental health and shit.
Absolutely, like
They
I
have
said,
they have to.
yeah. So I mean, but now again, everything's lifted again, and for now, the curtains are off the windows, and we're open for business publicly.
We go to a restaurant. Holy shit.
Yeah, right.
I'm supposed to go somewhere for lunch today. It's been since before the whole shit, man. I went to Ohio a couple times.
Did you go just to go? Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
no, I hear you.
Like, some people like to, and I was like, let's go out to eat somewhere. Like
You know,
Ohio, it is.
fuck, man.
45 minutes away. Who gives a fuck?
Especially if you got a kid or something, dude. Just to so you don't go crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they
And I
were
mean-
somewhere to sit, or like we're just going out, have a couple drinks, whatever. And
Like I said, without getting into a huge argument, like I mean, is COVID gonna get you if you're sitting down or standing up? Does it really fucking matter?
Not really.
But whatever.
Yeah, right. You gotta live life anyway.
Yep.
No.
What else you got for me, bro?
I don't know where we at. We talked about the whole.
Talked about some training. We talked about some old hardcore stuff.
Suicide Kings.
Yeah, we can talk about some suicide.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about? I want to want to talk about GI Joes
G.I. Joes.
for a little bit. Yeah, just for a really quick second.
Okay.
You probably don't know anything about GI Joes because it may be a little bit
I remember
before your time.
I remember seeing them as a child. I had some GI Joes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't like crazy about them.
I'm a toy collector in general.
Oh shit! For real?
Yeah. I collect GI Joes is like my shit. I'd have to say second and third tie is Star Wars and horror shit. Mainly
Yeah,
old
horror.
horror shit like Creature from the Black Lagoon and Frankenstein. But I mean also new stuff too, like Michael Myers is like my favorite newer. I call them the big
That's
three,
about as far
like
as I
Freddy, Michael Myers, and like Jason. Michael Myers is my favorite. So I
Yeah.
got some really cool Michael Myers pieces. But GI Joes are the fucking shit. So
G.I.
right,
Joe.
anybody have any GI Joes out there? Fucking, let me know. I'll trade you whatever, some cash. I want them bitches. I don't care if they're broke at the waist. I can fix them. Any old
No.
vehicles. I know there's some old heads out there that's got some Joes because I'm 42 and I know like fucking probably Vinny or somebody's got like some stashed in his
Vinny.
mom's basement or something like
That's what
that.
comes to head to my mind because I know.
I'm like who might have some Joes? Herb, the old bass player from the Alliance. Like, oh man, like 2 winters ago, I traded him some green. He's like, dude, I found all these old Joes in my mom's basement. He's like, they kind of look busted up and shit. And I'm like, I don't care. Let me come over. He had like a garbage bag full of Joes and like he had the blue Rattler plane. And
That's so funny.
I mean, I fixed a lot of them. I bought some O-rings and fixed them. I bought some stuff offline to put them together and stuff.
Never would have thought.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I have an awesome Joe. If you cared, not that you cared enough, if you knew enough about it, I would even like take a video when I get home and show you my shit because. Oh, you are. Oh man. Okay. Well then.
I collect the WWF figures.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So I'll have to send you a video maybe later and let you show my room. Yeah. Awesome.
I used to have a whole bunch. Like back in the day, I was into like the WWF, like in like the mid '90s and late '90s. So like Kane, the Undertaker. Who are those dudes? Mosh and Thrasher. Remember those guys? Yeah, the headbangers. Those fucking goofballs.
See, I never got into. I mean, my wrestling. 80s. I don't think I ever got past the 80s.
Yeah, well, it just comes with age. With different age.
I lost
so.
interest. And again, you guys grew up in an age where wrestling was already known as like quote unquote fake.
Yeah.
When I started watching, yeah, I know, right? What? No, it's not fake. When I started watching wrestling was literally, no, I'm good, thanks. Was Junkyard Dog, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, goddamn Iron Sheik, George the Animal Steel. I mean Hogan and those guys.
Giant was the Giant.
The
around?
Giant, yeah, Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the
that's
Giant,
the only Giant.
Yeah. That's the only Giant that matters.
That's the only Giant that matters. So, like, I grew up in that era, and I mean, when I was like 6, 7, 85, 86, and I'm watching wrestling, dude, it was still everybody thought it was real, And when it kind of broke that it wasn't, I think there was a lot of kids like in my age that like really just lost interest in it. And I was one of those people that I used to be diehard. I mean, we used to jump off the couch, fucking flying elbows, me and my stepbrother and my brother, beating the shit out of each other, trying to imitate the TV. I remember I begged my mom to go to WrestleMania in Detroit, and she, I said, we was just like, well, we can't afford that. I'm like, God damn it, so and so's going.
Everybody's going.
But yeah, and then once I found out it was fake, I fell off. I always wanted to be a ninja though, so that was something.
Yeah, well, you are now
with the martial arts thing. Yeah, like I remember watching American Ninja. Again, some of these old 80 ones.
Yeah,
American Ninja was awesome. I remember. So put it this is funny. Just to hop back on Thai boxing really quick. I remember watching Jean-Claude Van Damme in Kickboxer.
Yeah.
Which, God, I mean, you got a fucking phone? Can you figure out what year that was? It's got to be 87, 88.
Kickboxer.
Anyway, again, I'm whatever age I am. Couldn't be more than 9, 10, or 11. And in Kickboxer, Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother is an American kickboxer 89. Okay, so 89. So let's see. I'm 11 years old. So in that movie,
I was
you're 2. I'm 11. So in that movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother is an American kickboxer.
Yeah.
And he's like 28-0, and he's unbeaten, and he's doing this interview, and they're like, somebody says like, well, what about Thailand? And the guy's like, oh, what about it? And he's like, well, I heard that they invented the sport and they're the best at it. And his brother's all arrogant. He's like, oh, kid, looks like we're going to Thailand. So they go over there and they get this Thai boxing fight, and while Jean-Claude Van Damme is like getting his brother some ice, he walks past this dude and he keeps hearing like boom, like this thud, boom. He's like, what the fuck? And he walks past it, and the Thai boxer in the movie, Tong Po, is like kicking this, like one of these pillars,
Yeah.
but it's made out of cement.
The guy with the hair was all
yeah,
shaved.
it was all shaved and had the ponytail in the back. Yeah. Yep.
I love that shit.
And he's kicking this fucking thing, and like plaster's falling down. Jean-Claude Van Damme's like this. He's like, oh man. And he goes back to his brother. He's like, man, we gotta call off the fight, man. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, these fucking guys. He's like, they were using elbows. He's like, they were kicking the wall, and the fucking plaster was falling down. He's like, it's fucking crazy. And I remember watching that as a kid and being like, God damn, dude. Like, Thai boxers are fucking crazy, right? And like,
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and in the video or in the movie, he ends up like kicking his brother and like crippling him, and
Oh yeah.
and then Jean-Claude Van Damme in like 2 weeks learns Thai boxing and beats this dude. But that was a stigma of Thai boxing, and still is that like, wow, these fuckers kick trees and they kick banana trees and fucking
baseball bats.
Yeah.
And fucking bricks.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy, man. Your shin's all fucked up.
Mine are, yeah, absolutely.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're
as I sadistically laugh.
Hard ass shit.
Yeah.
Like it's not just pads over there.
Well, again, like that whole kicking banana tree thing is it was an older style. I did kick a banana tree when I was over there.
Traditional. You have
just because I wanted to. I wanted to see how. Now, if anybody knows what a banana tree is, it's not like a fucking oak tree. I mean, you can kick an oak tree, I don't care, all day for 20 years. That thing ain't coming down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a banana tree is, it's like bamboo-ish. Where, I mean, it's hard, but there's give to it as it goes, So, yeah, fuck yeah, I kicked one, and I want to see how it felt and how hard you really have to kick it to get it to move and even come down,
Does it hurt really bad?
Oh, yeah. But again, it's that mind over matter. It doesn't hurt. And I'm not going to show that it hurts if it does.
Sick. I just start fucking hopping around crying.
Yeah.
Little bitch.
And I mean, well, like I said, there's that. Now, again, I have never seen anybody kick fucking concrete walls.
Oh, no.
Without a padding around it, which still don't, I mean, that concrete's behind it. All the padding's doing is not splitting open the skin on your leg. But you're still kicking a force that's not going anywhere, and the whole scientific part of that is, now we did a bunch of crazy shit, when we were over here, me and Jam, we'd always come up with fucking weird ideas. I remember the rolling pin
shit, yeah,
along the shins. I had a god damn it, broom handle that was cut off. That when I used to sit at home, I used to just crack up and down my shins while I was watching TV and stuff.
Fuck.
I mean, that stuff alone, along with just like kicking rock sand filled bags that are like at the bottom is like goddamn concrete, all that stuff. What you're doing is you're making small little cracks in your bones. What's the technical word for that? Fracture.
Yeah.
A small little fracture in your bones by beating it, against something that isn't going to move, whether it be concrete or something, So you're bruising it, you're causing these small fractures, and then what is bone made out of? Calcium. So you're letting it calcify over, and then you're doing it again, and then you let it calcify over, and then you're doing it again. You do it, so it becomes harder and harder and harder and harder and harder each time, to where not only kicking you is going to hurt, kicking me is going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? If you end up, if I what we call check the kick, and your shin hits my shin, and I mean, and what it really boils down to is who's got the most nerve endings left. If I've killed all my nerve endings off in my shin, I'm not feeling nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
So even if I block your kick, it probably will hurt you more than it's going to hurt me, unless you're just as a conditioned Thai boxer or something like that. You know?
for sure. I say, well, what hurts more, like checking a kick or getting kicked in your calf? You know,
Dude, it's two totally different kind of pain.
yeah.
The checking the kick is almost like that. You feel sick a little bit, you know.
That's so fucked up. You feel sick.
The taking that hard. I mean, they both can make you fucking feel. They both suck. I can't, you know.
Yeah.
Checking a kick
I've
doesn't.
never been
doesn't
kicked
hurt.
by somebody.
The only thing the difference in checking a kick. Now I've had 3 fights total full Muay Thai. Well, I mean, I've had amateur fights with Muay Thai rules, to where I might have shin guards on still.
Oh
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
guy
What the
didn't
fuck?
want to or whatnot. But I had my last 3 fights were full rules and no shin guards. No shin guards, no headgear. The only thing, because I was still amateur, I never went pro. But amateur was the only difference between amateur Muay Thai and pro Muay Thai, at least in the organization I was fighting in Canada, were the elbow pads. So everything was the same. All the rules were the same. 5 rounds, anything goes. Is, you know, as far as like weapons, elbows, knees to the face, dumps, sweeps, head kicks, everything you can think of. Elbows to the face. The only thing is in amateur they would be elbow pads, so you didn't get cut open.
Oh, it still hurts like a motherfucker.
Oh, you get knocked out. You get knocked out for sure. But it wouldn't slice you open.
Yeah.
And the only the like mentality behind that is it's like you're amateur. If you want to go pro and you got fucking sliced up in your amateur career, you know, you go pro, you're gonna get cut open really easy.
Yeah, because it's.
If you guys watch UFC, you look at the Diaz brothers.
They split wide open.
That's because they take. I mean, they take so much damage. Now, don't get me wrong; they're my favorite fighters. Love the Diaz brothers, dude. Brawlers, true fighter, fucking fighter shit, gangster ass shit, dude. Yeah. They'll walk at you bloody as fuck and be like, "What's up, bitch?
So
I ain't done. What are you talking about? I'm right here.
Yeah,
you think because I'm bleeding that I'm fucking hurt?" Like he said, Nate said, he's like, "You sneeze on me, I bleed." You know,
well, that's fucked up because with the BMF fight when he fought Jorge, like, he was still ready to go. Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong, Jorge was getting the best of him.
Yeah,
and I hated to see that. And I love Jorge too. Same type of dude, game bred fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have counted Nate out, not in the least.
No, we still got 2 rounds or 3 rounds. I don't know what was left.
Yep.
This end of the third, they called it.
It was towards the end of the third. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking gushing blood. Like, that doesn't mean nothing, man. He bleeds every time.
Well, especially the fact that he just fought. Who did he fight before that? What's his name? Thai boxing, Duke Rufus's guy, Anthony Pettis.
Pettis.
He just fought Pettis in that same cut. It was the exact same cut that had happened, you know. So
it sucks. And then it was sad to see Jorge go and fucking lose against Usman, which he's fighting tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Usman fan.
He's fucking wrestle fuck.
Yeah.
On the fence.
Yeah.
Kind of boring, but
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see him get dropped.
I'd like to see him get dropped too. I really, and I don't like Colby either, but I would have liked to seen Masvidal drop him. Masvidal would be a good champ, you know. To see.
That's what I thought too.
But and put it this way, from what I seen in that fight from Masvidal, I feel like his the reasoning behind why he lost was correct. He's like, you know, because he took it on 11 days.
Yeah.
Masvidal is that very explosive fighter. You know, he'll do that Ben Askren thing, hands behind the back, and then boom, flying knee. Sick. And his movements in general, he can go from like here to jet fuel in like a drop of a dime. And he said, he was like, if I would have had a bigger gas tank, I would have been able to push those flurries more. And that's where I end up catching people. You know, he's like, I could only go for like 10 seconds at a time, to where normally I would go for 20 seconds and then I would back off and then I would go again and then I would go again. He's like, I couldn't do that with Usman because I didn't have that training, you know. Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, man, it's so saturated now too. The UFC, it
is very.
It's like, it's hard to watch it every week.
I was
You're like, who the fuck are these people?
There's fights every week, man. I can't keep up. You know.
And then what's even harder to get because you have to have the fucking ESPN Plus or
I know
or whatever. It's like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
You pay
it's
for
it's
it,
a
and you gotta pay
fucking
for the fucking pay-per-view.
oh, they want to get you to buy into everything.
Yeah, it's like I'm paying for $80 now for some fucking dog shit fights.
I know. I mean, some of them are dog shit. I
Yeah.
will say that. You know.
I mean, they're all great fighters. They all deserve to be there, but it's like, it's a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, it's just boring now. I've been watching like the past like 3-4 years, like pretty heavy, but the whole like COVID thing, like that was going on, and Dana just went all in. So we're doing fights every fucking
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Well, that like Fight Island was pretty sweet though.
Take a piss really quick.
Yeah.
You guys can like just add right.
Sure.
in.
No, yeah.
I'm still to this day kind of baffled why these guys never did this full time. Suicide Machines, because they were so big at a point. I mean, you were on Warner Brothers Records or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
you were huge. And then how did it fall apart?
You're on the Tony Hawk game and shit.
I mean, did you guys talk about that?
Not really. Like he just said, like he said, he didn't want to like sell out. I guess he wanted to keep it like punk as fuck.
Jay was, you can really see
So I don't know him like that. Like I'm sure you know
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I know. I
Jay does it for the art.
put it this way: in the 20 some years I've been around and just doing music, and as a music part of this, I've came across Jay in so many different times and ways in bands.
Mhm.
I remember Jay,
Oh,
I remember Suicide Machines Jay. I remember Hellmouth Jay.
Oh, hell no.
I remember fucking when he was not doing anything and he was just skateboarding again.
He's a good skateboarder too.
He is a good skateboarder.
Yeah.
I never really got close with Jay.
Okay.
You know,
I've just always seen him around.
always seen him around. Always friends of friends of friends.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I've talked to him. Fucking, I don't know how many times. But if you said who is he probably wouldn't know who I am. Now,
Yeah.
if you said, oh, he sang in the Alliance and Hyde, and he'd be like, oh, I remember. Yeah, okay, I remember. I know I've talked to him
I know
before.
that band.
But yeah, but that's a good one to have. So yeah, cool. We can finish up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ramp it up. Suicide Kings.
Yeah, and you just edit out whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and ask a question, and he can edit it from there or whatever.
So is there anything coming up else with the Suicide Kings besides your new album you just put out? And now it's with your boy. He doesn't live here, right? Or does he?
Cole still lives in Canada.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he just like, sends you shit and you just record over it?
Yeah. Well, this last record was obviously the first record that we did being away from each other, you know.
Oh yeah, because you're always out there.
Yeah. So the last time, I mean, like I said, I left Canada to come back to Michigan in 2016 when me and my ex-wife got divorced, and we did a European tour in the summer of 2018 or whatever it was, maybe it was 19, I don't remember. And then COVID, and we were sitting on some material from, some of it was from when I was still living in Canada that were just like B-side tracks or stuff that didn't get released. And then Cole's actually in a really cool metal type of band called Trench. They're in Canada.
Okay.
I believe they just got signed to a really decent label. I want to say Metal Blade. I'm not sure.
Shit.
I want to say it was something good. It was like right before COVID and shit. I remember him telling me that they
I
got
seen
signed
pictures of
to a
him with this band.
really good label, and I think it was that. I'm not sure, but anyway, check him out. They're called Trench. He plays guitar in that band. Like I said, he used to play in Gravemaker, where he, from what it sounded like, wrote, I think, the whole last record, the really good Victory record that they did. He's a really good musician. So we were sitting on some stuff, and then during COVID, we still, and I don't pay attention to a lot of this stuff. I don't pay attention to a lot of social media shit, Spotify numbers. I'm like, what? Is that good? Yeah, okay, cool. And he compared it to some other artists, and he's like, we're still fairly relevant. People still download our shit. People still listen to our stuff. He's like, we got material. He's like, we should put out another record, And it was never like a thing that we said we weren't going to put out another record. It was just, we moved. He started doing his thing. There was the Bully Camp project too, where if we're talking about Suicide Kings, we might as well touch on that. When I first came back in 2006, I mean, what I did for a year and a half was finished up the Bully Camp record. And if, that's like a collection of Detroit MCs. It's almost like a little Detroit Wu-Tang, that's me, that's Aztec.
Yep.
That's Shane, goes by Foulmouth, who's a really dope producer. I mean, he's everybody. I mean, he's worked with Royce da 5'9", Kid Vicious. I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff. He's really good. Jake New was another MC in that group, who now lives in New Mexico. Younger kid, he was in his early 20s at that time. Kills it. And then Metascience, who's having some health problems right now. So I wish him all the best of luck. But I hope everything's good. But yeah, it was like us five, you know.
I remember that shit.
And it was really cool. It was a really fun project to do. Kind of something I started out in Canada. Just I think it was like me and Rick really, you know. And I was like, yo, I would just like to do something on the side and get as many like good Detroit MCs that are our friends, you know, and just kind of make like a little group. You know,
man.
people can rotate in and out, whatever. Maybe one dude's on like 3 tracks, the other dude's on 6 tracks.
Right. Yeah.
It's just
like
whatever.
Like
you
a
know?
mixtape.
Yeah,
type
yeah.
Thing, yeah.
So I did that. We played a bunch. You know, we played a handful of shows in Detroit. We played Cold as Life. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Rick. I think it was just me and Rick because again, live performances to try and get everybody together was hard.
There's a lot of people.
A lot of time. Yeah, it was me, Rick, and Shane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that show was just me and Rick. We did a Cold as Life show. With Freedom, and you know, there you go. What other hip hop cats in the scene besides me and Rick can do a hip hop show at a Cold as Life Freedom Detroit hardcore show, motherfuckers?
I don't think
recognize.
No, man. It's like you and Rick though, like together. It's just magic. I think, like on any recording or any video or.
You know, it's weird. Now thinking about it, I mean, me and Rick has probably been doing tracks together for the last 20 years. I mean, I remember I think I did 2 BKC tracks or 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I remember I did one and then
Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, and then we used to do I think it was an Ice Cube cover or something, wasn't it? Then a BKC.
Was it only live or was it recorded?
No, it was live. It was a live thing I used to always come up and do with them. I think it was rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Yeah, it was that.
Never hesitate.
Yeah,
put somebody on their
yeah,
back.
It was that track. So we used to do that live, and so since we're on me and Rick, fuck you, Rick. Rick is probably the dude that got me into rapping.
No shit.
Yeah, if you didn't know that, like I said, I've always been a fan.
Then we had
and I might have always fucked around,
right?
But it was probably Rick that was like, you should do this. Or like we would maybe fuck around live and he'd be like, dude, you should do this, you know? And it was when I left, he gave me like a memo because I was like, dude, I'm going to be alone. I ain't got shit to do. Maybe I'll work on, you know, some hip hop stuff. And he sent me with like 30, 40 tracks, you know, just to write to and shit.
Nice.
So yeah, Rick is probably like my little mentor into getting me into rapping for sure, you know, outside of just fucking around with it, you know?
Yeah. I remember seeing or whatever, like BKC, but then this is way back in the MySpace days. And then somehow I bumped into remember the Rising Suns, like that shit he did, the Rising Suns group.
Yeah, him and Joey. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. And I didn't know, like I knew he like rapped on a couple of the BKC songs, but I didn't know that it was like a side project. And I didn't know you did that shit until the end of the if I Hit 'Em Up album. You had that little hip hop track on the very end of it.
Fuck, I forgot about that. I haven't listened to that record in a long time. So
well, somebody just put that shit on YouTube like a year ago. Like it was on there, but then some reason it got taken down, and then somebody put it up again. And this guy, I was like, you got to send me the MP3 file, and he did. Some guy in fucking Grand Rapids. I don't know who he was,
wow.
But he put it back up there. And I still have it, but it's all scratched and fucked up.
Yeah. Shit, man. Yeah, Suicide King stuff. The new record just came out. It's doing good. We got vinyl coming along with it. This deep purple, black swirl vinyl to go with the artwork of the CD. If you've seen the artwork of the CD, it's gonna be that same like color scheme. So it's gonna be like a European release thing.
Okay.
It's gonna be a limited press. I think it's 100 vinyl, 50 tapes, and shirts. And there's going to be like a 50 bundle deals, and then there'll be 50, I think, just plain vinyl afterwards that you could just buy the vinyl. But
nice. Is it coming out of Europe? Like you got to order?
It'll be coming out of Europe. Yeah, Finland.
Yeah. What's the deal? Like it's always Detroit people, or even like hardcore people, are always fucking with like European labels. It's just a relationship.
I
It's
mean,
always been there. It's crazy.
I mean, for me, ever since back in the '90s, Europe has been the place to be.
Big supporters.
It's,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's big support, you know, that you don't really get over here. You know, you got struggling acts over here. Most of them are, you know, but then you go to Europe and it's like, wow, you get shown this love or you get shown this support that you don't get over here, for whatever reason. Maybe people think we suck over here. Maybe it's just so saturated that,
Yeah.
you
There's
know,
too many people
it's
doing
just too
it.
much and people don't care as much. But we go to Europe, you know, and it's like a cat, man. You know, if if I'm coming over here and like there's no food, you know, but these people are like, hey, come over, we'd love to feed you and hang out with you and
Yeah.
pet you and do.
Good time.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know,
no, yeah, it was. I mean, it's not even about money.
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
of course.
I don't think
It's the
we really came
experience.
back with any significant kind of money
No.
anytime, whether hardcore or
Yeah,
hip
good
hop.
time though.
But yeah, I mean, again, you got to think, man, being a downriver Detroit fucking kid, never really supposed to go or do anything, and but people want to hear my music in fucking Finland and in France, and I get to go see Jim Morrison's grave and smoke a blunt while I'm there. Like, cool, you know, like I'm saying, it's like it's an opportunity, right?
Fuck yeah.
Music, luckily, has provided me a lot of opportunities that I don't think I would have had, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy because like even with my little bit of podcast, you know, it's not huge. A lot of people don't know about it, but even because you can see like the analytics, like where people are listening
Yeah.
to, and it's still like in the UK, there's like people in like Singapore, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
They're cool.
Yeah,
They want to
yeah,
hear what
yeah, like,
you
thank
have
you,
to say
thank
and,
you.
and other people you're talking to. And
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a VPN, like somebody could be using some like weird ass shit, but it's still you see there's like a lot of countries, like 8, like 12 like countries. I couldn't even name them, but I was like, what the fuck? A lot
Yeah,
in
it's
the
good.
UK.
Well,
and,
same thing with like the hip hop when the analytics come in and it's like, wow, we do so much better overseas and in Canada than we do in the US. So,
Yeah.
you know, when we go to book shows or look for a tour or promoters,
where people are
we
listening.
go where people are listening. So,
for
yeah.
sure.
People always get mad at us and it's like, you know, Suicide Kings has toured quite a bit. We've done 2 European tours. We've done a bunch of Canadian tours with some decent sized artists. We did like 2 or 3 weeks with Apathy and Self-Titled Demigods. We toured for like 2 weeks with Snack the Ripper over there. And you know, people get mad and it's like, oh, it's like the 3rd time you guys have toured and you haven't come through here. And it's like, well, man, holler at your promoter and tell them
Tell your friends.
and tell your friends that you
Yeah.
want to see these artists, not
Mhm.
just us, any artists in that matter. You know, that's what you got to do. You know.
Yeah.
Again, we
A lot
don't
of
need a
work
lot,
into it.
but you know, we have to be able to pay to get there at least, you know, and if our fan base isn't that big over there, well, I'm sorry, you might have to drive a bit to come see us. And trust me, I wish we could play fucking everywhere, but
Yeah.
you know,
I love it though. You guys always put out real good shit, and it's like a different type of hip hop too. It's not. It has a flavor, whether it's the Canadian flavor, or wherever your boy's from. You know, it's like the West Coast, but it's almost like old school. It's not.
we definitely,
Not a lot. You know.
I think we definitely move toward as far as sound goes towards that boom bap era
Mhm.
of hip hop.
I like it better personally.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
mean, I do too. It's what I grew up on. It's my bread and butter. I don't have anything against whatever they want to call them nowadays, mumble rapping, trap rapping, whatever it is.
It's not
It's not for me, really. Like I said, I have my guilty pleasures here and there. I might listen to a track, but I mean, it's the same thing with hardcore. You know, I don't really veer too far off of what I like and what I know. So for me to try and like keep up with the Joneses and make some little peep shit, you probably would tell it doesn't. You know, it would come off unauthentic. You know, but
For
I
sure.
think again, even with hip hop, and I take the same formula of hardcore. You know, I talk about what I know, or you know, if I do veer off into like a bit of fiction, it's still not with a grain of my own reality involved in it. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And the same thing with hardcore. You know, it's not like I don't really talk about things that I either don't know about or can't relate to, one way or the other. You know?
Why would you?
Yeah.
It's
so
as real as it gets.
and I
You know,
don't
that's the way to
relate with
put it.
fucking poppin' zannies and fucking you know, tattooing dumb shit on my face.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel you, man. Neither do I.
Whatever.
Fucking scrubs. Anyway, but so you just put out the new album. Is like what, 6 or 7 tracks, maybe
7
8
tracks.
7
Yep.
tracks. Yeah.
Yep.
It's on fucking Spotify. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's
Spotify,
everywhere.
iTunes,
Check it out.
wherever.
It's the
Yeah.
hardest shit ever.
Thank you.
And I don't know, hope for more eventually, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me here. I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Working on it. A lot of people to talk to.
Yeah. You'll get there. Everything's good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
End it.
We're done.
We're done. That's
Peace.
it.
See you
Fun.
guys.
It's easy. Just have a fun conversation, huh? I'm bringing up shit. You're like, how the fuck do you even remember that stupid shit? It's just
Oh, the rap.